Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales. We've been married for 10 years, and on Monday night, my wife and I were sitting at the kitchen table. Sandra, who I call Sandy, made a simple meal, including crispy cauliflower cheese, which I love. She added leftover roast beef from last night with some pickles on the side, and even brought me a pint of my favorite beer. I don't mind having a strong beer on a work night occasionally. We've known each other for about 14 years. But now something's coming up that I probably won't like. And then it happened. She told me that on Friday night, she's going on a date with one of the guys from work. She quickly added that it's just dinner, no sex involved, so I shouldn't worry. It's not what I expected, and I'm not happy about it. I stayed calm on the outside, but inside, I was angry. I want some excitement for myself, too. Things have gotten a bit routine, and I think I know where this is heading. So now it's my fault that things have gotten a little routine. You didn't say that when I took you to the Red Lion for dinner and dancing on Saturday last week or on Friday when we won the pub quiz. On the contrary, you were over the moon about the bottle of champagne we won that night. That was us. I want something for myself, and believe me, there's no sex involved. It's just dinner. So who is this guy, and when did you and he decide to do this? It's Jonathan. He's been asking me for weeks, but I've always turned him down. Tonight he asked again and insisted it was just dinner. No sex, he promised. So I said yes. I kind of guessed it was new boyfriend Jonathan. She had mentioned him a few times a few months ago, but then she stopped mentioning him. I stopped by her office one day when she forgot to bring her lunch and I saw him. You know when you instantly dislike some ingratiating shit? Well, that's what it was. And we've met a few times in the city. I don't want you to go, but it's your choice. But I'm warning you, I don't trust him and I don't believe you about no sex. Don't forget, I saw him. The next 2 days were cold in the house. On Wednesday, she came home late with a bag from the supermarket, but I noticed 2 other handles sticking out of it. She hid one bag inside the other, clearly trying to hide something, which made me feel uneasy. While she was making dinner, I went to take a shower and decided to check the far corner of her closet. I found another bag with a sexy satin blue dress and a new pair of stockings. I couldn't take them out without letting her know I had seen them. I wondered if it could be a surprise for me, but I doubted it. On Thursday, I left the house at the usual time but called in sick to work because I had a lot on my mind. Thursday night was freezing. She told me that they would be leaving early on Friday, so by the time I got home from work, she would probably be gone. She probably didn't want me to see her wearing her new dress. I didn't see that coming. I had to give my planned speech early. Where are you going on your date? I'm not telling you. You'll show up and ruin it. You need to think about that, about what you're doing going on a date with another man, not your husband. And you don't tell me where you're going. I won't stand for it. If you leave, I'll throw you out on the street. She looked at me in amazement. You won't do that. You love me. I do love you. But do you want to test that? She looked down, and I suppose your company has a morality policy? I'll find out. You don't, I'll be fired. Are you really willing to risk it? I said to her. If you go out with him, I won't be here when you get back, whether you have sex or not. I think that upset her because I had made my point clear. Things felt even colder between us at night. I started leaving for work early to avoid seeing her in the morning, but I made sure to come home early. When I got home, her car was already there. I went inside but didn't make myself known. I waited 15 minutes after the shower stopped pouring and went upstairs to our bedroom. She was standing there in a satin dress. She looked stunning. That's why you're leaving early. You don't want me to see the new dress. I picked up the empty stocking package on the bed. She looked embarrassed. So you're not going to have sex with him, but you're going out looking like a first-class escort. I was tempted to use the word prostitute or whore, but for now that would probably be overkill. Until she was out the door, there was still a chance. When we went dancing at the Red Lion, I wore a blouse, skirt, and tights. I didn't have stockings, but Jonathan bought them. And you bought him a new dress. Who paid for that? I did. With money from our joint account. Yeah, of course you did. No, you didn't pay for it. We did. And since I put most of the money into that account, you're using my money to dress up for your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. Then why are you going out with him? I want something different, something exciting. Just then, the doorbell rang. I went downstairs, and she followed me. It was Jonathan, and he looked surprised to see me. With the situation at a standstill, I gave her a choice. If you walk out that door, we're done. No, that's not going to happen. You love me. Do you really want to take that chance? Jonathan smiled at her, held out his hand, and said, "Sandy, it's time to go." That seemed to make her make a decision. She walked out the door. I squeezed past them. "Sandra," she looked at me. I pulled an envelope of divorce papers out of my back pocket, removed my wedding ring, dropped it inside, and sealed the envelope. I held it out to her. She didn't take it. Jonathan was still with his hand out, so I put the envelope in his hand. I looked at him. "When you're done having sex, give it to her." I walked up to the side of the house and picked up this for sale sign that had been hanging there since I'd contacted the estate agents and attached it to a post by the fence. Sandra stood with her mouth wide open, leaning against the door jamb. I walked past her back into the house, grabbed my backpack and a large suitcase, got out and threw the luggage into the back seat of my Mondeo. I turned to Sandy and said, "I'll be back tomorrow to get the rest of my stuff. Make sure he's not in the house," pointing at Jonathan. She collapsed on the floor, flooding with tears. "Now you can date and sleep with whoever you want. You can't talk to her like that." Jonathan pushed me. So cute. I was glad the cameras were recording everything. I stepped forward and kneed him in the stomach as hard as I could. He fell over and started throwing up. Sandra was lying on the floor, crying and looking up at me. "Don't mess with me," I said. "I'll see you tomorrow." Then I drove to my parents' house, where they were waiting for me. On Saturday, I went back to get more of my things. Jonathan wasn't there. She begged me to stay, but I told her that if she's going out with coworkers dressed like that, it means she doesn't respect me. It's only a matter of time before she makes a mistake, and I'm not going to stick around for that. I offered to help her find a place to live since I already had a good offer on a house. She'll get half. I packed up everything I wanted and left to start my new life without looking back. Second story. My wife 43F and I 37M have been married for 7 years and together for 8. 3 months into our marriage, I found out she was having an affair with an ex-lover. I forgave her and moved on. About 1.5 years ago, I noticed something was off. She was acting differently. I saw pictures on her phone showing cleavage and kissing faces, and I found a cropped photo of her along with a song about having an affair. 9 months ago, I discovered she was having an affair with another ex-lover. Along with the same ex-lover I found out about earlier in our relationship. This crushed my ego and self-esteem. I made rules and told her if it ever happened again, I would leave. Recently, I felt a strong desire to experience the same feelings from other women. I told my wife that with my ego shattered, I needed to rebuild it, especially since both guys she cheated with are gross, extremely overweight, and disgusting. I finally told her that it's time for me to rebuild my ego, and my intention is to meet other women and experience what she felt with those men. I also opened up our relationship, allowing her to bring other men in as long as she's honest about it, which has been hard for her. My rules are simple. 1, she must be honest. 2, I join them. And 3, I bring another woman. I told her she could choose to join in or not, but I would seek the comfort of another woman regardless of her choice. Now, after all her cheating about 8 years' worth, she doesn't want to engage in these acts with me. It's mind-blowing. I'm trying to give her what she wants and trying to understand this new non-monogamous approach. Can someone help me understand how it was easy for her to cheat behind my back? But she can't do it when I ask her to be honest and include me.